Hello, everybody, and welcome. This evening, my name is Nick. I'm the general manager of Chagrin Cinemas. I'd like to thank you for coming this evening, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for having this here again this year. It looks like it's a great turnout. We're always excited to have Chamber members stop in, see a movie, or say hello. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce the president of the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce and a gentleman who's sharply dressed like I am this evening, Jeff Griff.
Thank you, and welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome. But before Nick goes, I just want to thank you again, and I want you to help me to thank Nick. They have rolled out the red carpet for us. Chagrin Cinemas has made this so easy for us. We really, really appreciate it. So, is this fun or what? Is this amazing? You are members of the most dynamic chamber in Northeastern Ohio. No two ways about it. Congratulations, because you're all a part of what makes this chamber happen. So we're so happy to have you here tonight for our award ceremony where we celebrate excellence. Excellence in the 13 communities that is the Chagrin Valley. So again, to keep this short, because I was given about that much time to talk, I want to introduce to you somebody that requires no introduction. I want you all to get on your feet and give a welcome to our host tonight, Molly Gebler.
Mic down a little bit here, folks. Welcome to the Chagrin Cinemas, folks. How we all doing? You good? Super great. Everybody got their swag bag? Yeah, you have a fly swatter in there, right? Where's Lee? Lee, did you get a fly swatter at the Oscars? See? There. See? There you go. Alex, can we kick up the lights? Because if anybody knows me, they know what's happening next, right? Right? Anybody know me? There we go.
Selfie.
Can we do it? Alex, you got it? There we go. All right. I know this is very 2 years ago, but it's what I do. So. All right, I can check that off my list. And I did take one with Lee already. That was also on my list, I hope. Did we? Okay, well, we will. Welcome to the Chagrin Valley Chamber Annual Awards. Did you guys enjoy yourself in the lobby, I hope?
Yeah!
Yes? Everybody get enough food from Burnwood Tavern? Let's hear it for Burnwood Tavern, yes. And M Italian, sorry, yes. Yes, it was amazing. I haven't had any, but I've been promised that there's a Togo for me when we leave here, so wonderful. A big shout out to Bill the bartender. He was slinging the drinks out there. I hope you guys all got enough. Excellent. And we all enjoying our Jeff corn. Yes. Thank you, Lowe's Greenhouse. This first part I get to thank people, so bear with me. We can't do things without thanking people, because that's what we do. So I can guarantee a few things tonight. I will guarantee that I will announce someone's name wrong. I promise you that. I guarantee you that we will say the correct winner for the correct category. Promise you that. Jeff and Chris, are you on that? You're on, okay. And I can also guarantee you that there will be no political jokes tonight. None. Yes, none. However, I cannot guarantee we're going to get out on time. Because here's the deal. We are an Oscar-style event tonight, but as you can see, we're a chamber, we're a nonprofit, and we couldn't afford the orchestra that plays the acceptance speeches out. So there may be some acceptance speeches that go on a little longer, and we've got nothing to play them off. So we're going to just have to deal with that tonight. And let's be honest, we've got nowhere to be, right? We've got nowhere to be except right here with each other with this group of amazing people, right? So that's what we're going to do tonight. Yes. You guys all work hard all day long. You support our community every day. So I want you to sit back, just enjoy yourselves, and let's just be here in this moment. So let's start off with a round of applause for you guys, the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce local businesses. Yes. Okay, so the race for Business of the Year and Nonprofit of the Year, it was so tight. It was like a horse race at our office, right, Jess? We just kept refreshing. So we had over 895 people vote. Very cool. And as soon as the winners happened, we sealed them in an envelope. Actually, we did that this morning, but who's counting? And we tried to figure out how we could protect it until tonight. So there's nobody better than to protect anything than the United States Army. And we have brought them here tonight. So please rise again and let's welcome Staff Sergeant Caleb Woloff, Staff Sergeant Michael Carroll, Sergeant First Class Daryl Rowland of the United States Army. So they made the big mistake with coming to our chamber about 3 years ago and said, if you ever need anything. And for the last 2 years, they have been with us in the lobby. They literally hung all those chandeliers and those gold chandeliers and everything. So thank you so much. I bet you when you enlisted, that was not what they said you were going to be doing, right? Right? And did you notice there were some extra stars there when you came in? Jessica was up on the ladder yesterday after you left, hanging those. Yes. So if these individuals could stand, they are very important. If I don't mention them, I'll get in super big trouble. That's not true, but they are worth mentioning that they are here in this room today. Mayor of South Russell, Bill Coons, Trustee of Chagrin Falls Township, John Finley, Superintendents of Chagrin Falls and Kenston Schools, Bob Hunt and Nancy Santilli, and Newberry Principal, Michael Chaffee. So let's have a round of applause for them. And I know I mentioned I wasn't going to say anything political, but here we go. Dustin Russell from Governor John Kasig's office, please stand. Josh Weemhoff from Congressman David Joyce's office. Katie Simo from Secretary of State John Husted's office, and State Representative Arlene Anelski, and Jeff Henrich from Treasurer Josh Mandel's office. These individuals are here tonight to congratulate our winners and present them with a special recognition. So the winners, please stay after and be up on the stage, and we'll get some great pictures with them as well. And then last but not least, where's my, hold on, everybody hold on. Nobody panic. We're good. Okay, so I'm the only one panicking. So there's nothing better than helping out and then being recognized for it. And I must recognize some incredible people that I've had the privilege with working throughout this process. I'd like to recognize these great folks. Again, we'll save applause till the end. Gosh, I'm saying all the things that they say at these awards. We'll save applause at the end. So I'm gonna list them off. It's gonna be fast, but it's not that I don't love and adore all of you. It's just that Nobody wants to listen to me, they want to listen to Lee. So I'm going to get through it. Burgwin Tavern and M Italian, Bill the bartender, Michael Lichterman from Clifford Norton Studios, that amazing paparazzi, including Club Pilates at the red carpet. I hope you enjoyed that. Charlie Ellis from the Chagrin Falls High School. He made those wonderful videos. So thank you to Charlie. Rob and Kathy from the hardware store made that amazing champagne dress, which I hope you all enjoyed. Yes, yes. Folks, if you want to talk about shopping local, the Chagrin Falls hardware store needs you and wants you. Jessica came and said, gosh, I was at a wedding and there was a champagne dress, and we looked at it and we said, Rob, and we walked right across the street to the hardware store. We showed him the picture, and I think 2 weeks later, the dress rolled into our office. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. And they have everything, batteries, everything. The Glass Asylum, which made the amazing awards that you guys will see, Sugar Me Dessertery, Hotel Indigo, Junction Auto Family. I can't say enough about you guys. Thank you so much. They brought these chairs in there. They housed Lee with a car. I can't say enough. Thank you. Speaking of these chairs, Lola Bridal Boutique. Thank you for letting me borrow these. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jay Shock from the Chagrin Falls Schools, thank you so much. Alex and his team for the lighting and audio, Miller Textile, and Kaylee Day, who was that amazing champagne princess that rolled around the carpet there. And then, of course, my staff, our staff, Hallie Reed and Jessica Doublejack. Hallie Reed's been with us for a couple years. Where is she? Hallie, I love you. Thank you. And Jessica is new to the chamber office as of December, and she literally rolled in like she has been there forever. So thank you so much, and thank you to everybody. I just love saying thank you. Can the following people please stand, and then I'm done thanking. Jeff Griff and Mary Lynn from Lowe's Greenhouse, Joanne Melitek and Bethany Germano from First Federal Lakewood, Barry Schick and Jesse and the entire Naturepedic Organic Mattresses, Emily Stengel and Mike from Hemlock Landscaping, Diane Barvin and Chris Norton from Anna Maria of Aurora, Jean Makish and Shannon Makesh and Shannon Ruglis from the Lantern of Chagrin Valley, Chris Cromaldi from the Glass Asylum. I know Julie left, she is from Hotel Indigo. Bill Fehrenbach from South Franklin Circle, and Nikki Zimmerlin and Nick from the Chagrin Cinemas. Folks, this is what amazing sponsors look like right here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sponsoring. And before you leave, you have a poster, so make sure you grab that. So, Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
are you ready to hand out some awards tonight? Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome again the president of the Chamber, Lowe's Greenhouse owner, and my mentor, Mr. Jeff.
Molly, you are amazing. So, the Past President's Award, I think I've been told there's an envelope, and I've been told that we're not supposed to make mistakes and give it to the wrong person. Well, I guess I can open this. Kind of know who the past president is. Oh, in amazing fashion, please let me present and thank, with the Past President Award, Chris Horn. Thank you, Molly. I do want to say something about Chris. Thank you for reminding me.
Now you know I had to give you that envelope.
Come on, Chris. Step into my office, Chris. One of the great pleasures that I've had a part of being a part of the chamber is all the things that I've learned from all the people that I've been able to get to know better and work close to. And Chris is absolutely no exception. Chris, you definitely inspired me and taught me that being prepared is how important that is, and your attention to detail is something that I've absolutely learned from and taken back to work every single day. And I really appreciate your demonstration of those talents and leaving that with me going forward. So thank you very much, and well done.
Thank you, Jeff. It's always nice to follow a microphone after somebody who's a normal size. And this is probably the only award tonight for which there will be no surprise because there's only one candidate. And it was an honor to serve as president of your chamber last year. It was rewarding, although sometimes interesting experience. And I really enjoyed it for the most part, although there's some bumps in the road. But Molly makes it easy to be president. She does most of the heavy lifting. And we had a great board of directors who volunteer their time. They're very dedicated individuals, very involved in the community and their businesses. And they serve with no personal benefit to themselves other than merely to make the chamber better. But it's not the board of directors' chamber, it's not Molly's chamber, it's your chamber. And it's important for members to be active in the chamber. So the more you can be active and participate, attend events, be on committees if you can, you'll find it very rewarding and it'll be beneficial to the chamber. So that's my recommendation to people who are sitting out there as members of the chamber. And tonight we're going to recognize, and I'm going to give the award for one of those individual members. I'm going to give the Presidential Merit Award today. This individual, whenever we needed a sponsor, her answer is yes, and then she asks, what is the event? She supports the staff, helping out the events, coming to the office to offer help with upcoming events. She is always asking how her business can assist the chamber. She's very involved in the chamber. She attends events. She sits on the nominating committee. She sits on the long-range planning committee. Her company not only supports the Chagrin Valley Chamber, but is also a constant supporter in Chagrin Falls, sponsoring events like the J.C. Blossom Time and your hometown. The director of your hometown said about her, she is a true ambassador of Chagrin Falls. Her support and commitment to our community is inspiring. A representative of the Chagrin Valley J.C.'s indicated, she has been a great partner in the Chagrin Valley J.C.'s for many years. She supports a number of J.C. events, such as Blossom Time Kids Day, Easter Egg Hunt, Chili Brew-Off, and the Foundation Golf Outing. She also supports other organizations within the community, and this support of the local community makes the Chagrin Valley a better place to live. She has a great focus on community, and I know I can call her if I ever need anything. The Presidential Merit Award is to go to Joanne Malatek of First Federal Savings of Lakewood.
Thank you. I'm so shocked. I don't even know what to say. It's, on behalf of First Federal Lakewood, it's such a privilege to support and be a part of this great community. And I truly am honored by this. I'm truly honored as First Federal of Lakewood. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
We are going to call up to the stage the chairman. We're going to give some money away to some students. Has anyone been to the golf outing? Raise your hand, please. So this is why we do it. This is why we do the golf outing, so that we can support these students in the 4 school districts that we that the 13 communities support. So Dave Straw is the chair of the student leader, business leader scholarships, and he listens to all the kids and helps pick them. So Dave Strahl from CertaPro, come up and let's give some money away.
Back to normal sized, I see. Just got landed on Community Chest. And Community Chest is a great place to land. It's a committee that I was just asked to take over. Just so you're aware, this is done with, the Community Chest is done with money that we raised primarily at the golf outing. This past year we gave away 77 requests totaling over $30,000. That's a lot of gifts for people in, including like your hometown, Chagrin Falls. We gave some money to the Kenston after prom as well as to the Chagrin after prom. We gave a great deal of money to the new park in Newberry. And when Auburn needed a popcorn machine, they came to the Community Chest, and lo and behold, they got their popcorn machine replaced. So it's a very interesting community to be on. It's also the only one that is open to chamber members, so that if you're looking to do some time and help us give this stuff away, by all means, we would love to have you. But for me, the most rewarding part of the year is the kids. We reach out to the guidance office of the 4 schools that we serve in our chamber district. That would include Kenston, Newberry, Orange, and Chagrin Falls. This year we're going to add also the iSTEM school at Auburn Community Center. They don't have any seniors yet. This is so new. They got kids coming up through it. So what we do is we ask the guidance office to recommend 3 students that they would consider suitable candidates for this my brain just downloaded, I'm sorry. Student Business Leader of the Year. Then several volunteers from the chamber go out and do a 15-minute interview with them, and it is an absolute blast. These kids, they're well prepared. The school districts have really raised their game in terms of putting young people in front of us that know how to look us in the eye and shake our hand, ask engaging questions, and I get a sense that they're very well prepared for what's coming for them, and I can't congratulate the educational system in our community enough, because they're really doing a great job getting these kids ready. So without further ado, and in alphabetical order by school, from Chagrin Falls, Ben Winovich is here. While he's walking up, I'll tell you a little bit about him. Varsity hockey captain, 3-year letterman. He's the head of the student zookeeper section. He's currently enrolled in financial literacy. He's enrolled in the Hiram College entrepreneurial mindset process. He's enrolled in probability and statistics. He's traveled to Costa Rica on service trip. He teaches little kids how to skate, and he lists on his resume charismatic as one of his many skills. So Mr. Charismatic himself. Next up, and I hope she's here, from Newberry, the amazing J.C. Drape. J.C., you here? Excellent. Also, doubling her time between high school and the new Kent State University at Geauga program, not the new one, it's a fairly existing program. J.C.'s resume includes 4 years lettering in volleyball, 4 years in cheerleading, Spanish club, Key Club, I think president, right, J.C.? President of the Key Club, on student council, National Honor Society, Black Knight Order of Distinction, and she's active in the 4-H for 4 years. So in her free time, she actually cleans out stables. So I don't know where she comes up with them, but congratulations. All right. What am I looking at here? I'm sorry. From Kenston, Angela Katara, president of business management class that earned almost $9,000, high honor roll for 3 years, junior Olympic volleyball team for 3 years, coach in 2017, also in her 2nd year at the Kent State Geauga College Credit Program, holds down a job as the shift supervisor at Duncan's, or are you still doing that? There you go. So a wonderful student, wonderful athlete, Angela Katara. And last but not least, from Orange is the remarkable Adam Marcus. So again, these kids they just blow me away here. So 4-year varsity letter in golf, group leader. He's a thespian with troop number 3015 since 2014. He's a lifeguard at the Cleveland Racquet Club. He's a sound and lighting technician at Stagecrafters Youth Theater. He's a volunteer Madrich at the Fairmont Temple. He's president of the high school choir, and he's in the Israel Culture Club. In his spare time, he works at his family's travel business. I mean, how do you do all this? Please welcome Adam Marcus. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave Straw. And students and winners, again, please head up to the, I know some of you have to go to, of course, winning awards at their athletic banquets tonight too. So if you have to go, go. If not, stick around because there are more awards to give you after. The firefighters who are here tonight, 2 of them. First of all, real quick, if I could, I want to share something very exciting. Our amazing board member, Bob Royer and Joe, are in the house tonight. Yes. They actually won the Presidential Merit Award last year. They started the We Salute Our First Responders event that we host in September. And their countless efforts, of course, never stop. And they have accomplished something truly wonderful. And I hope it's okay, Bob, to share this with, we got to start getting the word out now. We got 2 months. They realized that although we honor our local first responders here in the Chagrin Valley, there's actually not a day in Ohio that recognizes them. And that did not sit well with Joe. Does everyone know Joe? Yeah, that didn't sit well. Yeah, so she called the senator and said, hey, we need a day. And they both partnered with Senator Matt Dolan, and they have successfully passed House Bill 44, and I will read it. It was signed by the governor's office. The 24th day of May, that is the Thursday of Blossom, is designated as First Responders Appreciation Day. Yes. And I know they're not stopping now. So if you have a chance to hug or shake their hands, they are quite amazing people. So I wanted to make sure we got that word out and thank them for their efforts. And then May 24th, please thank a first responder. Speaking of, we have 2 amazing special guys here. So the Chagrin Falls Fire Department is doing some renovations, and they asked for help. And I don't know about all of you, but when the people who are going to help me, if I need them, ask me for help, we help. So the chamber got together and we hosted a placemat, and we hosted stars, which a lot of you purchased. And if I could ask Chagrin Falls Fire Chief Frank Zugan, and it's not fire inspector, it's fire marshal, Jim Maloney, to head to the stage. We're going to present them with a check for $3,500. Which I totally don't have. So just for the purpose of the camera. Fire Marshal extraordinaire. But I know that Chief Zugan has asked to say a few things, so.
Well, first off, I want to thank Molly. I really appreciate your support. She is a promotional dynamo. You guys are so lucky to have her. I also want to thank all the star donors, the residents, the businesses that we serve that have donated to our fundraiser so far. As the saying goes, if you see the fire department, you're having a bad day. If you see me, it's really bad. So for those of you that have never met or don't know me, my name is Frank Zugan. I reside in the village of Chagrin Falls with my best friend and better half, my wife Kathy. She's back in the audience there. For the past 30 years, I've worked full-time for the city of Shaker Heights, a department serving as a battalion chief. Also, for the past 30 years, I've worked part-time for the Chagrin Falls Suburban Fire Department. In the last 10 years, serving as their chief. I am also a proud third-generation firefighter, following the footsteps of my father and grandfather, who also served on the Suburban Department. Also, for those of you that don't know, the Chagrin Falls Suburban Fire Department is a nonprofit corporation. We provide fire protection and EMS services via 3-year contracts to the villages of Hunting Valley, Moreland Hills, Bentleyville, South Russell, and Chagrin Falls Township. The village of Chagrin Falls contracts with Suburban for EMS services. We are not part of the village government, as most people believe. We are truly a regional department and have been for well over 120 years, long before the word regional became a buzzword. Our emergency services are cost-effective and efficient and provide to the communities in order for them not to have to build, purchase vehicles, and staff their own fire departments. I again want to thank everyone that has donated to our cause so far, and to invite you all out to Emma Italian and Burntwood restaurants this Friday from 5 to 10 p.m. They are graciously holding a fundraiser event for us that night, where the firefighters, local business owners, and residents, Molly being one of them, will be guest bartenders raising funds for our cause. I also want to personally and publicly thank Bob and Joanne Royer, Kathy Hattenback, I know you're out there, wave. Bob and Joanne, Steve Pepper, I know you're out there, I saw your mustache. Michelle and Jamie Vanoski, I'm not sure they're here. Molly Gebler, Brett and Michelle Adams, Jen Leonard, I know you're here, I know where you are, wave. And Scott and Sheree Friedman, I am beyond grateful for your support. So I hope to see you all on Friday. God bless.
So Kathy and I will be at Burntwood Tavern, and I only do beer and wine, so don't be coming to me with some fancy drink thing. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, but your tips will be welcomed. Okay, folks, 3 more awards, and then we're gonna get to Lee, I promise. But I know Lee knows the support of this community and how much it takes to run it. So I'm going to award the Chamber Member of the Year. So each year we select a Chamber Member of the Year, a member whose works directly impact the Chamber and add lasting impression on not only the Chamber but the Chamber staff. This year's Chamber Member of the Year has done exactly that. 3 years ago, he thought of an idea, a way to reach out to local students and teach them how to solve problems and write a persuasive 600-word essay sharing the problem and the solution. He reached out to the Chamber, and together we created the We Solve Problems Essay Contest. For the past 3 years, he continues to make it better and more rewarding for these students. This individual also supports the Chamber as sponsoring the entire Simple Summer Nights concert series for the past 2 years, and I hope he's doing it again this year. Great time to ask, great time to ask. His countless efforts to reach out and collaborate with other Chamber members is inspiring. At any given week, he's having lunch or coffee with another Chamber member. He's making connections and supporting with other Chamber members. We can always expect a call or a text at our office saying, hey, I'm at the coffee shop. Did you want some coffee? We've enjoyed his professionalism and his whole heart attitude in his business. And I've enjoyed co-hosting a weekly podcast with him called The Best Podcast Ever. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me award the Chamber Member of the Year to Mr. Alex Gertzberg.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Molly Gebler. You're awesome. Isn't Molly awesome? Thank you all. This is the best chamber in the world. Thank you all for being awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, folks, I mentioned that we had 895 votes for nonprofit and business of the year. The work of a nonprofit goes something like this. You fundraise, you have an event, you get volunteers, you go broke, you have success, and you repeat that whole formula over and over and over again. And I see all the nonprofits are shaking their head because they get it. The nominees in this category are no stranger to hard work and success. They have all impacted our community in their own significant ways and continue to need our support all the time. Here are the nominees for Nonprofit of the Year, and we don't have any fancy screen to show their clip or anything, so please stand if you have been nominated so these folks can see what hard work looks like. Bainbridge Area Food for Friends, the Chagrin Valley Little Theater, Fairmont Center for the Arts, Chew Cafe and Boutique, and the Valley Arts Center. Each one of you are so amazing, and we thank you for all you do. But we all know someone has to win. So, the winning nonprofit was born in 1930. In 1943, their home was taken from them by a devastating fire, and lots of fundraising. In 1949, they opened their new doors to their new home. Since then, they have been recognized throughout the region as a venue for high-quality production that showcases the talents of area actors and delight thousands of theater lovers each year. Please, folks, help me welcome the Nonprofit of the Year, the Chagrin Valley Little Theater.
I have Carrie holding it because I couldn't do it without Carrie. So thank you guys. I'm Julia Wolf. I've just became president since October. I thank you. I hope that you come and see a show at Chagrin Valley Little Theater. I've been there now for 25 years, volunteering and marrying my husband, who is our technical director there. It's our family. I hope that you become part of our family. Come join us, and thank you for the chamber, for Molly, for asking us anytime she wants to do something at our venue. She always knows she's welcome, as well as any of you who need to use our space whenever we can open it up for you.
I would just say, come out, see a show. We're doing amazing new things there. I'm so excited to have the award from Chris Carmaldi, who did the amazing light fixture in our brand new lobby. So come out and see it. Come out and see the new lobby, new theater. Our gala is coming out. Check it out online. Thank you. Thank you.
They win the jet ski. That's a good one. You watched the Oscars, didn't you? Yes, yes. That's so funny, Jesse. Thank you. Okay, and the last of the year is the business of the year. And again, 895 people. Guys, it was a close race. Everyone deserves it. And it's just an honor to be nominated, I believe is what they say at all of these things. We had 8 outstanding local businesses nominated. Together, they have 200 years of local business experience. 200 years together. Pretty cool. Very cool. So the nominees, and please stand and we'll clap at the end. The nominees are Burntwood Tavern, Chagrin Pet and Garden, Chagrin Yoga, First Federal Lakewood, Hungry Bee, Lowe's Electronics, the Gertzberg Law Firm, and the Neighborhood Office. Please stand and be recognized. I need my phone for our next little, Mayor Coons, get ready. So, folks, a little bit about the winner. $9,500, $3,000, $5,000. What do they have in common? These are just some of the donations that they have made to the Cleveland Clinic Taussig Center and Cleveland Clinic Children's Center. What does $30,000 mean? That is the dollar amount of gift cards that they give each year to the teachers for Teacher Appreciation Day. What does free mean? Free means that that's what the veterans pay on Veterans Day to get their meal. What does 8 mean and 10 mean? That means 8 years they have been opened. 8 years that they have been opened, they opened 10 restaurants. These are just a few things that make this business amazing. You can also list amazing food, which we all enjoyed in the lobby, a great patio, an amazing happy hour. And what I love most about our winner is the friendly and inviting staff. When we contact them for gift cards or food, their answer is yes. So Mayor Coons, just because you have that fancy tux on, would you come up for me? Come up here. Mayor Coons of South Russell, folks. Woo! Let's give him a little applause as he comes up. Hi, Mayor. So I'm going to give you an envelope. Okay. And do you have your little skit ready?
I'm ready.
Do you remember what we said? Well, no, we don't have enough money for that. We bought the champagne dress girl, but I got a free app here. Hold on. There you go.
Winner of the Business of the Year is South Russell's own Workwood Tavern.
Accepting on behalf of Brentwood Tavern is Michael Joseph Stanton, the GM of Brentwood Tavern.
So it's kind of emotional. Really is. So I met Brett Adams about 8 years ago. And my interview process was kind of interesting. It was, I walked into the place, I was in, my suit, I had my briefcase. I just left Rock Bottom Restaurant and Brewery. I worked for Elliot Hermanson for 13 years, and I was going to make a change. And my parents, they said, "Hey, Joe, you're building this restaurant. It's a barn in Chagrin. You know where, Shagtown was?" I said, "Mom, I like run a big restaurant. It's Rock Bottom. I mean, we're down in the flats." She's like, "No, you should come out and see it. We'd love to see it more often." So I go out there and I hang out with my parents and I roll in there and I see that they're building what looks to be a barn. There's all these Amish guys all over the building. And I said, "You know what, maybe I'll email." So I emailed Brett and we had a meeting and he took me back into the office and we talked all about our families. And he talked about the importance of, family and giving back to the communities that you live in. And this is a really demanding industry that we work in. And, a lot of people put it out there and they tell you what they're going to do, and then they fall short of it. I work for a man that doesn't fall short. He continues to drive and pursue his goals while giving back to the community on a day-to-day basis. And I am extremely proud to work for Brett, his wife, Michelle, and the CAP-RG family. And I'm happy to do that in the community of Chagrin Falls. So on behalf of Brett, Adams, and Michelle, thank you very, very much. The community itself, I mean, this is, you know, I moved to the west side 15, 16 years ago, and, you know, moving back out this way, it's a blessing to be around, you know, people that not only care, but open up their arms on a daily basis to say howdy, to say hi, and thank and give thanks. So that is a blessing, and I love seeing all you guys in the restaurant. So I appreciate you guys. And for sure, Molly Gebler, you are a blessing to this community, and the hard work and determination that you have on a daily basis is inspiring. So on behalf of the Unkrich family and the CAP-RG family, and Brett Adams, thank you so much.
Thank you to everyone that was nominated. Lee, you want to get the show on the road? Come on up. So we are going to bring up Lee Unkrich. You know, he flew in last night from California, left all the fancy people over there and came to his hometown, Chagrin Falls. And we're going to sit on these amazing chairs. He's going to bring up a little gold friend that I was honored to have breakfast with this morning. He has also mentioned that he will stick around, and if you would like to have your picture taken with the Oscar, which, yes, is coming up on the stage, please do. And Lee, we're going to sit and we'll go over your career and have an intimate conversation and pretend all these people aren't there. You ready? Let's do it.
Grab the backup, thank you.
Hollywood. It's tough.
I was going to say, is this working? No. Hello? Yes, there you go. I was going to say, you get the award for the most ostentatious chair I've ever been interviewed in.
Oh, yes, yes, thank you, thank you.
This must be what it feels like to sit on Liberace's toilet.
Yes, I thought if I'm going to interview Pixar King, it needs to be in a king-style chair. So here you go.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, then the show's over. All right, folks, we'll see you all later. Thank you. I've done it. I've done it. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It's really a pleasure to be here, be back home.
And is he here? Can we let
Yes,
him out of the
can we take him
box? Who wants to see him?
The number one question I get asked is, does it come with the case? And no, it does not. They just hand it to you and you're on your own.
Is that an extra million?
I'm lucky, this is my second Oscar that I've won. And so I got this back when I won the first one because I would travel with it occasionally to give talks, and it kind of draws a little attention if you're walking through the airport with an Oscar. So here's the Oscar. I also brought, because it's interesting, this is the envelope, you know, when they open the envelope up on stage. So they do these really fancy envelopes every year. They're different every year. And this year, because of last year's fiasco with reading the wrong category, you can see it says in very large letters what the category is. They opened it up. Who gave me the award? I think Mark Hamill. Like there were a bunch of the Star Wars guys there. Yeah. I had to thank Mark Hamill because his image was on posters all over my bedroom when I was in 5th grade. So it was really awesome to meet him, and it was really awesome to be handed an Oscar by.
That's, it's right there. This is crazy, absolutely crazy.
And it is heavy. Anyone, if you stick around, I'm happy to have anybody hold this, get a picture taken with it. I tell people the biggest gift that you're given by winning an Oscar is being able to hand it to people. Because not many people get to see these in real life, let alone ever hold one. And it makes me so happy whenever I can hand this to somebody to hold, because it's a cool thing. And it's very, very special, and I'm super honored to have gotten one.
Congratulations. So if any of you don't know, I will briefly, you graduated in 1985. Just stop me if I'm incorrect, or don't, just let it go.
So far, so good.
So your senior quote in your yearbook literally said, "See you at the Academy Awards."
Among other things, but yes, I did write that, and yeah, I think that's why I worked so hard to make movies, because I knew that would be hanging over me the rest of my life if I didn't fulfill it. So it was wishful thinking at the time, but it turned out okay.
We would have welcomed you back regardless, trust me. I love that you were bold enough to say it, though.
Or stupid enough to say it.
No, I'm going to go with bold, and I love that you were talented enough to actually win it. So you then went to, from Chagrin, you went to where the sun actually shines, California. You studied at the University of Southern California School of Cinematic Arts. Yeah, good. You graduated there. You went on to do some TV editing, Silk Stockings and Renegade.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Those are some sexy covers, I will say. 1994, you got the call. You found your way to Pixar. They asked you to be an editing role in the original Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went on to do the same thing, editing in A Bug's Life, Cars, Ratatouille. You co-directed and edited Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., and Finding Nemo. And then you directed Toy Story 3 and directed and wrote Coco.
Yes.
And you won an Oscar for Toy Story 3.
Yes. And Coco. And it didn't happen overnight. That's 25 years.
25 years plus. I wrote that. 25 years plus. I am wearing Coco socks.
Ah, very nice.
You had tweeted. You're a big tweeter. Y'all need to follow him. Do you say tweeter? You're a big tweeter.
Tweeter? I guess so.
You are.
I tweet.
You tweet. And you had a picture of Steven Spielberg that you had posted at the Oscars, and Steven was wearing Jaws socks.
He was.
Yes.
He was sitting across the aisle from me and up a couple of seats. And midway through the ceremony, I nudged my wife and I said, "Spielberg is wearing Jaws socks." So I was a little creepy, but I managed to take out my phone and shoot a picture.
And then you tweeted it.
And I tweeted it. So
And the company,
hopefully it won't come back and haunt me.
It didn't. You increased the sales of the Jaws socks from the company.
Yeah.
Literally. They came to my office and brought him a bag of Jaws socks.
That's so funny. I had no idea what they were. I thought that maybe he's had these Jaws socks for years, and that's what he wears when he's nominated for an Oscar for Good Luck. Because I was wearing something for Good Luck.
I know what you were wearing because you tweeted it.
Yes. Well, I tweeted them not wearing them.
I know, that was
they weren't just laying
disappointing.
on the bed. But 7 years ago on Oscar night, my wife made me a custom pair of Academy Awards underwear. She kind of ironed on a couple of images of an Oscar onto the two sides of a pair of Calvin Klein underwear. So it worked out 7 years ago, so I wore them again that night. And so I think if anyone is up for any awards and needs some underwear, I'll
Do
give
you
my
wash
wife's
them
email
after
address.
you win? I mean, usually football players, they don't wash them because the luck. Do you wash them?
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness. Well, the company, just so you know, the company of the Jaws socks, the marketing director went to Kenston High School, believe it or not.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so you won your Toy Story 2. Do you remember that call, that the call you got that you were nominated for Toy Story 3?
For Toy Story 3? Well, I was up. You know, they do the nominations early in the morning, like at 5 a.m. And so.
No, we don't know that, Lee, because we've never gotten a
Well, it's not
nomination.
5. It's like 8 here, right? But for us in California, it's at 5 a.m. And I watched it, you know, wherever they were live streaming it, or it was on the news, and it was only the third time in the history of the Oscars that an animated film had been nominated for Best Picture. So that was especially thrilling that morning to hear that.
Yes. So was it any different for Coco? Like, or are you just like, another nominee?
Well, I have to say, it never gets old, and it's just as special, but like anything in life, it's never quite the same as the first time, right? Like, there was just something...
So many things I want to say right there.
I don't want to make it any less special, because it's incredibly special and rare. I never in a million years thought I would win one Oscar in my life, let alone two. So it is very, very special, but it's like anything. I was talking to my wife, there's a really nice restaurant out where we live called the French Laundry. It's widely considered, the best, or one of the best restaurants in the country. And we've been there maybe 3 times now, 3 or 4 times. The first time is amazing and mind-blowing. The rest of the times, it's great, but it's not the same as that very, very first time. So this is super special, and I don't want to downplay that at all. But the thrill of the newness and going through it all for the first time, that will always be kind of something very special that I remember for Toy Story 3.
And speaking of Toy Story, just the whole trilogy, is that right? Trilogy 3? Does the voice come first, or the character come first, and then you say, oh, this is Tom Hanks? Or does Tom Hanks come first, and then you create the character?
Pretty much, in most cases, well, first of all, we record all the voices before we do any of the animation. Not everyone knows that. Most of the time, we come up with the character first, or at least an inkling of the character, and start to figure out what the character's all about. And then, at a certain point, maybe a couple of years into the process, we start to then think, well, who would be somebody good to play this part? And that's when we'll end up with someone like a Tom Hanks or a Tim Allen. And once we've hired them and start recording with them, the character keeps improving, because it starts becoming them.
They look almost sometimes,
well,
they look like...
A lot of people think that, and I think that's just because the animators are keying off of the voices and their performances, and sometimes they'll lean into some of the mannerisms of the actor, so people will start to think that it feels like we made the character look like the actor, even though we don't really do that. The only time I can think of where we actually wrote a character for a specific actor was in Finding Nemo. Andrew Stanton, who wrote Finding Nemo, wrote the part of Dory for Ellen DeGeneres. So when he had the meeting with her, he said, I wrote this for you, so if you turn me down, I'm completely screwed. And she said, well, I guess I gotta play the part.
Oh boy. There was a Toy Story, I believe it was Toy Story, a story that you shared about losing the footage. Can you tell I just thought that was fascinating.
For Toy Story 2?
Yeah, and the assistant had a computer.
Yeah. So what happened was we were making Toy Story 2. We had a very short schedule on that movie because we basically shut it down because it wasn't working, and changed some of the leadership on the movie and completely rewrote it, but we still had to meet our original release date. So everyone was working around the clock 7 days a week to get the movie done. And we hit a point, I don't know, we were maybe 2/3 of the way done with the movie. And one day, I don't even know how this happened, and it sounds ridiculous, but it actually happened. Somebody typed a command into their computer, and it started erasing the movie basically from all the servers in the disk farm at Pixar. And
that's not me, that's the speaker. Totally the speaker, you heard it, Lee.
It's me, I'll take the blame. So anyway, they saw this happening, and they were scrambling trying to stop it, but it just kept going and going and going, and went kind of out of control. And they finally got it stopped, but they had erased half the data, all this work. And if we had lost it, and then there were no backups for some reason. There was some crazy chain of events that led to this happening. And luckily, a woman who was one of the technical directors on the movie had been out on maternity leave. And she had copied the entire contents of the disk farm to a local computer that she had at home while she was kind of being with her kid. And so she and another guy, they went back to her house, got the computer, put it in the seatbelt in the back seat of the car and drove white knuckle back to Pixar, hoping, praying that it would have what they needed.
That's $1 million worth of, I mean, more than that. How much?
Well, our movies cost over $100 million, so I mean, it was a big
$100
deal.
million.
Anyway, we can laugh about it now, but it was, yeah, that was a
Someone
crazy
get
day at
fired.
Pixar. I don't think anybody got fired over that because everything worked out okay.
Your speech was beautiful.
At the Oscars, thank you.
At the Oscars, yes. You gave an amazing tribute to Mexico, and you even told me that you tried some of your speeches out in other award programs. So my question was going to be, did you plan on getting such a, because the crowd exploded on your statement.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. And Molly asked me about this the other night, if I was expecting
Yes,
that
we were
reaction.
together the other night, just so y'all know.
She was my chauffeur from the airport when I flew in.
My honor.
And what I told Molly is that, you know, we were very lucky and we've been nominated for a lot of, and have won a lot of different awards for Coco in the course of this award season. And the best advice I ever got was from Andrew Stanton, who directed WALL-E and Finding Nemo. He said, write all your speeches up front. Just write every possible speech that you might need. And if you don't win, then you can just roll it over to a different award ceremony. But he said it just gives you a chance to try out different lines or say different things that you might want to say, and you have an opportunity to kind of gauge reaction from the audience. So over the course of the award season, I was able to kind of hone what I wanted to say and kind of get down to the pure essence of what I had to say about inclusion and diversity on screen and you know, thanking the country of Mexico for inspiring this movie we made. And I was at the BAFTA Awards, which are the British Academy Awards in London a couple of weeks ago, and we won that night. And I said some things that night that I hadn't said before, and we got a huge reaction from the audience. I mean, just everyone was very happy with what I had to say and supportive. And so I ended up just kind of doing a variation of that when I was on stage at the Oscars, and it went over really well too. The other cool thing about the BAFTAs has nothing to do with your question, but I got to meet Prince William and
Kate?
what's her name? Kate? Yeah.
What's her name?
They were at the event. They were at the BAFTAs, but afterwards, at the very end of that awards, they ask all the winners to come up on stage and they do a photo. And right after we did the photo, they said, the Duke and Duchess would love to talk with you all. So they had us stand in a big circle on the stage, and William and Kate came up, and they basically, separate from each other, made their way around the circle and talked to every single person individually, very graciously, gave a few minutes of their time. And Kate is pregnant again, and
Is that breaking news?
I don't, it was to me. I don't follow these things. But my wife rolled her eyes when I said, yeah, and she was pregnant. Of course she's pregnant. But the thing that was amazing is it was the first time I'd ever actually seen a real life person wear crown jewels. Like, she had massive, like, real emeralds on. But they were very sweet, and they were telling me that George's favorite thing to do with his dad is watch movies, and that they...
Yours, I hope?
Yes,
Oh,
and they were really excited to show him Coco, and that somehow ended up in the tabloids, that Coco was one of George and William's favorite films.
Let it ride.
So.
Just ride that. Just ride that. So, has everyone seen Coco? Okay. So,
That's not very many of you, which is okay.
but they can go to Japan this weekend.
It's opening in Japan this weekend. No, it's out on video now, so you can see it, and I recommend it. The movie's done really, really well. We've made almost $800 million worldwide. It's been a huge hit, and it's been a hit in countries that we weren't expecting, like China. Coco made more in China than every other Pixar film we've released in China combined. It was a very difficult movie to market. It was very hard to make trailers for it because there's so many surprises in the movie. We didn't want to give up any of those. There are a lot of twists and turns in the storytelling. And also, the movie's very emotional, which people aren't expecting. But you can't sell that emotion in a trailer. So we just kind of did the best we could. And we found that the trailers didn't necessarily get people to go out to see the movie. But once people saw the movie, we had amazing word of mouth. And that's what's who made the movie do really, really well. And I have people write me who've seen it 9, 10, 15 times. But I know, just because I'm out in the world and talking to audiences, that I know that a lot of people haven't seen it yet, which is fine. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to change. But I recommend you see it. Everyone I know who's seen it really loves it a lot. So I recommend you watch
It's
it.
amazing. But I have to ask, when you pitched having a kids' movie about the Day of the Dead, did everyone look at you and say, Lee, it's time for you to...
Well, I'll
Wrap
correct
it
you on
up.
one thing, which
Okay.
is that we don't, I know that there's that perception, but we don't think of ourselves as making kids' movies. We make movies for everybody, and it's the hardest
Yes,
thing
that
to
is
do.
true.
We make movies that, we know kids are going to be part of the audience, but we want the adults to be just as entertained and for the films to be just as thought-provoking and interesting for
Somebody's
adults.
entertainment.
I mean, the biggest compliment I've been given is that I've had so many parents say thank you for making movies that we don't mind watching 100 times in our house. So yes, I did pitch a movie that was set against the Mexican tradition of the Day of the Dead. There was never any pushback. Everyone at the studios, both Pixar and Disney, were completely supportive from the very beginning. They knew we weren't making a scary movie. At the beginning, I didn't know what the film was going to be about. I didn't know if it was going to be about death. In fact, the very first version that
Don't spoil it.
well, this isn't what I made, but the first movie that I developed was a story about a boy whose mother had passed away. And he was an American boy, and his father was taking him down to Mexico to meet his Mexican family, that side of his family for the first time. And a lot of things that happened in the movie happened in that story in terms of the kid going to the land of the dead and meeting his ancestors. But I realized at a certain point, about 8 months in, I realized that I was telling a story that was very much from a Western perspective about death. It was about grieving and letting go and moving on. It sounds really heavy. It was actually a very fun movie, but that was a part of it. But I realized that I was telling a story that was completely antithetical to what Dia de los Muertos is all about, the Day of the Dead. It's not a holiday about death. I mean, death is a part of it because you're honoring loved ones and ancestors who are no longer with you. But the celebration is very joyous, and it's about actively remembering your loved ones and keeping their memories alive and making sure that their stories are passed along to the next generation. And it's a very family-centric holiday. It's like, I always liken it to like a family reunion that spans the divide between the living and the dead. Because down in Mexico, they actually believe that their loved ones are coming back and that they're there. I spent time with people who believed that their family was there in the room with them. They'll put out foods that people loved in life and drinks. Anyway, I digressed a little bit. My point was that, as I figured out what this movie was and that it was really all about family, that was the point where everyone was really, really completely on board, because we realized that even though we were making a film that very specifically honored the traditions of Mexico and was a film about Mexico, that we were telling a story thematically that we hoped would resonate with people all over the world, regardless of what culture you're a part of. And at the same time, hopefully teach people a little bit about another culture.
I think it definitely did that. So can we play a little game, a little word association? If I say, yeah, we're playing a game, folks. If I say an actor, will you just give me one word that describes them?
Okay.
Tom Hanks.
One word.
One word.
Generous.
Oh, I love that. Don Rickles.
Hilarious.
Ellen.
Hilarious.
Although you said driven this morning, and that's what
She is
started this-
driven.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a pretty intense person, but super talented.
Billy Crystal.
You're picking all the funny people. They're all
I know.
hilarious.
I know. They're coming.
Billy, I don't know. I mean, these are all just like super funny people. Those are the words that come to mind.
Laurie Metcalf.
I haven't worked with her in a while. She's amazing.
Amazing's your word.
Amazing. Yes, and I'm so happy. I don't know if you guys have seen Lady Bird this year.
Great
but
movie.
she's,
Great movie.
she's really amazing in it.
Annie Potts.
Another person I haven't worked with in a really long time, because she wasn't
Using
even
your
in
brain.
Toy Story 3. And he's very sweet.
Okay. Benjamin Bratt, other than hot.
Handsome.
Yes.
You'll say hot, I'll say
My
handsome.
husband's here, I can say it.
And like also one of the nicest guys in the world.
I love that. Tim Allen.
Edgy.
Oh,
Tim's very funny. He's kind of an intense guy.
okay. And then John Goodman.
Clown.
Oh,
He's a big clown.
okay.
These are all nice. Most of the people that we've worked with over the years are really amazing. Tom Hanks, the story I tell about Tom is that whenever he showed up for a recording session, he made a point of going to whoever was like the guy setting up the bagels or whoever was like plugging in wires in the back of the room. He would go up to them first and shake their hands and say hi and be friendly. Like he would just show up and kind of put everybody at ease. Some of these people, they're really big stars and they know that people get intimidated sometimes when they meet them. And I've never seen anyone as good as Tom at just disarming people and making them feel great.
So people who act tend to get really into their character to a point where sometimes they can't even get out while they're shooting the film. You live in an animated world.
Right.
Do you see everyone animated? You told me I needed to ask something that you've never been asked before.
I
and
don't think I've been asked that before.
Okay, so here's my question. You're in front of a computer. You're zoomed in on that.
Uh-huh.
Is it hard to transition back into the real world? Because you're hours on
Well,
that.
like when I'm editing, which I do, I always edit my own films as well, I definitely go into a zone where hours will go by and I won't even notice. So, and I think that's true for a lot of people at work. I know the animators definitely, because that's all they do is sit in front of computers all day animating. And yeah, we all kind of go into a zone. The only thing I can think that's along the lines of what you're asking is, I do listen to people's voices. Like a lot of times I'll hear somebody's voice and I'll think it's a really interesting voice, or I'll hear a kid that has kind of a funny sound to his voice. But
Are you making a character up in your head while you're
no, it's just
listening?
more like I think like that would be a great voice for animation.
Okay. If they gave out leading actor and leading actresses for animated movies,
Uh-huh.
who would win leading actor in your films?
Out of all of them?
Out of all of them.
Oh, I don't know. That's always like,
It's gotta be, I'm not
That's like when
asking who
people
your
ask my
favorite, I
favorite
know.
movie.
I know, which I'm not asking.
it's just like picking my favorite kid.
Best actor, throw it out.
I don't know, they're all so great. I don't even know if I can pick. Like literally every single person I've worked with is such a pleasure to work with and I have such great memories of working with them. It would really be impossible, I think, for me to pick one and say that they were the best. But I usually default to whatever the most recent movie I made was. So I would give the award to Anthony Gonzalez, who's the little boy who played Miguel
Yes.
in Coco.
Yes.
We found him when I auditioned hundreds and hundreds of kids all over the US and Mexico. And it was a really tall order because I made a commitment at the beginning of this film to have an entirely Latino cast.
Wow.
And I needed to find a boy of a certain age. He needed to not be too young, but he couldn't be too old because it takes a few years to make our movies, and I couldn't have his voice change in the middle of making the movie. He needed to be able to sing, he needed to be able to act, he needed to be able to focus for hours at a time and have energy. And so I saw hundreds and hundreds of kids, and out of everyone that I saw, it was just Anthony. He was the only one that I found. He was perfect. But thank God I found him because there was no second choice. He was just this incredible kid. I think he was 11 when I cast him. He's 13 now. And his voice has completely changed and he's as tall as I am. But he wasn't when we were making the movie. Yeah, he's just amazing and I can't imagine the movie without him. He's just this kid, but he carries the entire movie. He's in literally every scene of the entire film.
Last show you binged.
The last TV show, Game of Thrones. Which sounds like, I know I'm completely late, but I just started watching it last year, and so I've binged the entire thing, and now I have to wait like everybody else. For the
My
rest.
husband's watching Mad Men, so you're not as late as you think. Favorite romance movie of all time?
Favorite romance?
Because I know you already told me your favorite movie, and that's all over
That's
the
not
internet.
a romance.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. No, it's not. It's The Shining is his favorite movie, FYI.
I don't know. Maybe like Amelie?
Oh. Anyone see that yet?
Yeah, it's a great
Okay,
movie.
well, watch it. You're going to skyrocket that on Netflix or Amazon now. Get stock in that, everybody, real quick. So this is a question from Kent State, students at Kent State University, because you're the buzz of that. Really, because my daughter goes there. There is a jacket on Ken. It has a K on it, and it has the colors of Kent State. Is that for Kent State?
Should I say yes because?
Probably, but no, you.
Does she know that K is for Ken?
Yes, she does. But she is in fashion, so she needed to know if that was a Kent State Letterman's jacket.
I'll tell everyone
They
here
think
that it's
it
for
is.
Ken, but you can tell her that
Okay.
it's for Kent State.
Okay. You paid tribute to Chagrin Falls a lot in Toy Story 3.
I did in Toy Story 3. Yeah.
Could you share a couple things that people?
Yeah, I wish I had slides or
we-
something to show you, but
We tried.
it's all right.
Well, no, because we want them to watch it again.
Well, we have to design every last thing in the movies. It's not like we go out to a store and buy anything for the sets. Everything has to be designed and built in the computer. So we had Andy in high school, and we never knew what high school Andy went to, so I said, why not make the mascot of his school Tigers for Chagrin? And so we put stickers and things on his old toy box. Say like Go Tigers and Tiger Pride, and I did kind of that. My mom's license plate on her car for my entire life has been CF131, Chagrin Falls, and then her street address. And so I made that the license plate on Andy's car at the end when he's driving to college. I don't know, there might be other things in there. I think Mom's minivan has some stickers on the back.
Any teachers that were characters? That was another rumor.
No, there's like a room, that's only a rumor.
Okay.
Yeah, some people thought that I based Al, the toy collector in Toy Story 2, on Steve and Pepper, who used to teach.
Yeah.
Maybe looks a little bit like him, but I had nothing to do with designing him, and Steve had nothing to do with inspiring him. But
That's funny.
it's okay if people want to think that.
And ladies and gentlemen, Miss Emily's in the front row. That's Lee's mom. So Lee. I'm sure you all heard her scream the other night during the Oscars. I'm sure Lee heard her scream. So Miguel says a very powerful statement in Coco, follow your heart and seize the moment. When have you followed your heart and seized the moment?
I guess I always do that, I think. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me to have said something so brash and bold in my high school yearbook, I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen with my life, but I definitely aimed myself at what I wanted to do. And I mean, the advice I always give kids, who talk to me about how to be successful, obviously everyone's path is different, and everyone has different opportunities. But the thing that worked for me, that I tell people, is figure out what you're passionate about, and then put in the time to get really, really good at it. And whenever you think you're good enough, you're not. Like, keep working at it so that you're really great, so that when the opportunities come, and it's the opportunities that end up being happenstance. I mean, for me at Pixar, literally the phone just rang one day. It wasn't anything I pursued. It just happened. I was lucky to get a phone call one afternoon. And but once you get those opportunities and you get your foot in the door, you want to be in a position to make yourself invaluable to everyone that you're working with, so that you want to be like the last person they would want to lose. And that's worked out well for me, and it allowed me to kind of rise up
Great
pretty
small
quickly.
business. These are all small business owners. That's a great thing for them to know. Being good and never feeling like you're the best at it yet.
Listen,
Keep
I've
learning.
been making these movies for 25 years. I've won 2 Oscars now, but each new movie that I make is just as hard as the first one. I mean, there are lessons that we've learned over the years and pitfalls we know to avoid, but telling a good story is really, really hard. It doesn't get any easier. We've been storytellers for thousands of years, and it just never gets any easier. These movies don't just get birthed into the world without great effort. We spent 6 years making Coco.
A lot of hard work.
And there was a lot of work on behalf of hundreds of people to bring it to the screen.
And we've got 3 questions, and then again, if you've won, stay, so we can get your picture taken. The Oscar will be here to touch.
There are no rules except don't drop it.
Oh my.
It's never been, neither one's ever been dropped, so you don't want to be the first.
So you grew up in Chagrin Falls. I've talked to several people who either grew up with you or know you. And one word seems to come every time someone describes you, and that's humble. You have tons of awards, 2 Oscars, a very fancy job. You hang around a lot of really cool people. How do you remain humble? And do you contribute it at all to living in a small town? But how do you stay humble?
I am just naturally humble, and I guess that came from how my mom raised me. Okay. And my dad. But you know, this is funny that you asked this, because I was just talking to my wife about it the other night. We watched on PBS, there was a documentary about Mr. Rogers. And I was a child of Mr. Rogers. And my wife and I were talking while we were watching this thing, and we both realized, my wife said it first, but she said, I think I am as compassionate and empathetic as I am because of Mr. Rogers. Because of this, like, this foundation that was laid and behavior that was modeled by him on this show that we watched every day. And you know, some kids I know watched it and never got into it and thought it was babyish or whatever, but for a whole generation, this was somebody who didn't feel like they were talking down to us, and again modeled this kind of great empathetic behavior. You know, he always talked.
Neighborly too.
Well, yeah, but he always talked about, like, it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. What's important is what's inside. And these are just like simple messages that when you hear when you're little, I think have an effect on you. And so, I mean, I wouldn't have talked about this a week ago. It was just seeing this documentary reminded both of us. And I think it had to have had an effect on both of us.
That's very insightful. So parents out there of little kids, get Netflix.
It's still on.
Get Mr. Rogers on Netflix and turn off some of the other stuff except the Pixar movies.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you challenged me to ask you a question that you didn't challenge me. You said you're probably not going to ask me anything that I haven't been asked already.
And you already did once.
I already did, but I think I have another one, and
Okay.
I asked it to you earlier. Have you rolled?
You're talking about the pumpkin roll?
Yeah.
Well, you know the answer to this.
I do, but they don't.
I never did.
Yes.
I never did.
Look at the gasping.
Sorry.
Breaking news, folks.
I was
You heard it here.
always aware of it. I would see the aftermath of it. I just somehow never participated, and I can't even tell you why. And I was over at the Foley's house today, Bill and Carol Foley, and their son Will was there, and he told me he never did either. And he thought he never got invited because his parents were teachers, and like they always had to be kept secret. That was his idea.
That was
so.
not true.
No, but I don't know if you want me to plug your film, but I saw Molly's documentary today on the pumpkin roll, and it's really awesome. She did a great job with it.
And you can buy your tickets at the Cleveland Film Festival, starting March 23rd.
Many stars of the film are here today.
They are. This is a star-studded event. Yes, absolutely. So there's lots of toys in the Toy Stories. Any toys that you grew up with that I know Toy Story kind of already was written when you came about, but did you
Yeah, the
bring
first
any
one.
that were your childhood toys?
Well, there's a thing in Toy Story 2 when we first see Zurg, where the camera kind of glides around behind his head, and there's like a hole in the back of his head where you can look through and kind of see Zurg vision. And that was absolutely based on my $6 Million Man doll. Because I was a huge $6 Million Man fan when I was growing up. When I made Toy Story 3, I never had one, but I always loved those monkeys, the chimps that clang the cymbals. I always thought they were really scary, and we needed a scary toy, so
Folks,
we
if
did
you can
that.
find one of those, I'm sure it's at the Chagrin Hardware store. We'll get you one of those for sure.
I don't know if there's anything else. You know what I really wanted to do, but I never got around to it? I had one of my earliest memories was taking baths, and we had this one, there was like a ball that floated, and it had like sailboats in it or something inside, but it made this very particular sound that I've never heard again. And I wanted to record it and put it in Toy Story 3, but I think that never happened. But that was, I really wanted to do that.
Rob, do you have one of those at the hardware store? I bet you do. And my last question, first of all, thank you so much for being here. You are
Sure.
incredible. Literally, Lee had originally said no, that he couldn't be here tonight when we first asked him. And then he got nominated and emailed me, and he said, you know, I can't do it, but maybe next year. And I said, let's book it. And he said, he emailed me on the day he was nominated, and I said, I can't believe you're emailing me. Don't you have anything better to do than email me on the day you're nominated? And I said, are you sure you don't want to bring this one home to your hometown? And I think it was 3 seconds later, and Jessica heard me scream. He said, you know what, yeah, I will bring it home if we win, and I will do it this year. Thank you. So my last question is, are you ever going to have a Pixar film based on Chagrin?
Yes!
We would all watch that, wouldn't we?
Maybe a collaboration with Bill Watterson.
Oh, you heard it here, folks. Breaking news. Breaking news.
That's all I can say.
Oh, no saying is good saying. You know that. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's really an honor to be back where I grew up and share a little bit of what I do with the community. So thank you.
Well, we love what you do. And all of you guys out there, keep being amazing and keep shopping small and keep being amazing businesses. Thank you. Have a great night. I know we ran late, but that's how it goes. Thank you very much.